first in a front line, and then behind the line, and then total of 3 years military service. That was a complete waste of time to me. That was a really waste of time. That's a absolutely non-productive period. 3 years, completely waste.
What kind of work did it
Work
involve?
In front line, I was assigned as a lieutenant to the battalion. Battalion consists of about 500 soldiers. You look after their health. Okay, I had a unit under me, 8 medics. Okay, so these 500 soldiers, they are all healthy kids, and there's nothing really to do. Occasionally they have an accident. One time I had in our battalion, there was one soldier fell off a running truck and killed. They had a head injury and killed. So I had to deal with that kind of thing. Other than that, you just every night you have drinking. The cheap Korean sake, and so it was waste of time. And before we went to army, there was so-called ECFMG exam. That qualifies you to can go to United States and accepted as a certified physician. In senior year in medical school, that exam was given. So we took it, and I passed. In our class, 4 of them took that exam and passed. So when I went to the army, I had that in my background. Okay? So I just wished this army service finish as soon as possible. Then I can go to the United States. Some parts in my mistake. I should have studied during that 3-year period some particularly English, spoken English. I was completely, our English background was entirely written, writing English and memorizing the words and that kind of thing. We didn't have any, very little contact with the Americans and speaking with the Americans. So when I finally in 1964, July 31st, I was officially discharged from army after 3 years and 4 months, 4 months of training and 3 years service. I was here in Baltimore August the 1st. Today my discharge was approved. I was on the plane. See, that time, this country needed these physicians because the Vietnam War was getting hot, and a lot of young physicians went to Vietnam. Okay, so they had to fill up these hospitals with the trainees. Okay, so they were really shortage of doctors, and so very welcoming these foreign doctors. So just applying letter to any hospital, they will say, please come, and they send airline tickets and everything. so that's how I flew out of Seoul and arrived in this country.
Can I just ask a couple questions that came up? I remember once you mentioned that your family was making gloves for a while.
Oh yeah. That was before I went to high school. That's about the 6 months period in Busan, and I didn't have schooling or anything, so needed any kind of job. Okay, so happened about two, 3 houses down, there was a guy who had this family business of making this gloves, the knitting the gloves. It's a small machine, almost size of old typewriter. Okay, you just pull back and forth, then this will come down like that. So I saw that, watching them working, and I asked the owner, and I said, "Can I come work here?" He said, "Okay, come." So for a couple of days I watched, and then I started working for him. then my father thought, "Okay, we get the machine, and let's start our own business." So we did. Okay. And then my brother and my oldest brother and I, we had the 2 machines, and did not that big profitable, but it was money making thing. So, and then didn't. The business didn't go well as we thought. So then I went to school and stopped that.
And was your oldest brother doing this type of work throughout this whole time, or?
He's I don't want to badmouth. He's an intelligent guy, but his personality is not aggressive enough. He's didn't have self-promotion. So my parents always had some reservations about him. Anyway, so but he was a good son, tried to help parents.
Mm-hmm.
So he helped in marketplace when they selling the flowers, and so on. He worked hard.
And you said that uncle, your next older brother,
Yeah.
that he discharged from the army, and then did he continuously live with you, or did he leave?
Some for a while I went to Seoul for the school. He stayed with the family because his job was Busan Ilbo, that's Busan Daily, okay, newspaper. So he stayed Busan, and then a couple years later, he looked up Seoul. So he started the Busan Ilbo had a branch in Seoul. So he went to that branch. From there, he jumped to news agency, Yonhap Tongshin, that news agency. From there, that was a more prestigious place, and they had more. So he was a political section reporter. So.
And when you first were refugees and then living in Busan, was your parents trying to make contact with North Korea, and were they aware of the situation?
No way. That time that was
Nothing at all.
unthinkable. If you tried to do that, you were a communist. From the South Korean authorities. That's considered against the country action. So no way. There was a complete blockage. No information about North Korea. Occasionally, some rumors coming out that our hometown was completely wiped out by bombardment.
Just a rumor that was false.
No, that was true.
True?
I found out that when I visited North Korea, they said the whole town was just blanket the bombing.
Later in the Korean War?
No, during.
I mean, but...
After we left, maybe 1951 or so. He said, that rumor was true, and.
So your parents just could worry but have no way to get...
No way, but just aching heart, that's all. They couldn't do anything.
And you weren't able to find out any news until around the 1980 or something?
No, it was 1990.
The first time you were able to make
contact.
contact.
Yeah, that time somehow North Korean authorities thought that they were strong enough to open up a little bit to embrace the expatriates to something.
But so, during your parents' lifetime, just never any information at all?
No, never. So they all passed away well before that. So,
do you think that they had any feeling of whether they believed that the other children were okay, or if they...
What was okay?
Do you think that when they would... that their feeling was that the children that were left behind in North Korea were okay, or did they think that they probably were not?
I don't know. That they
wouldn't talk about it.
No, they talked about, but they just didn't have any any idea
Yeah, sure.
whether they are alive or they're just grieving, grieving,
And how, when you first left, thought it would be a short amount of time, and like,
Right.
over what time period did they gradually begin to realize it might be permanent?
Well, soon after, about 3 months or 4 months
They
after,
understood.
we understood it was almost impossible, that it's not gonna happen, Yeah.
And was your what, what was your father typically doing during this time period in Busan?
Oh, my mother and the father together. Then I mentioned that when we lived in Busan, his age was about 47, 48, 50 that time. He started having health problems. Thinking back, I think he had the hypertensive, high blood pressure related kidney problems. He sometimes had these swellings, and somehow he managed to pass that. So he lived until almost 70, 90, 70. So he was not healthy, but still managed to participate this go to market and so on, and did it.
Okay, wanna take a break? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back
Okay.
tonight.
Time now. You want to keep these?